Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's first video. We're doing the European outlook for today's first video. So as was on Friday, we have a detailed look at the weather for the coming week to 10 days across Europe. And the heat is on across many western parts of Europe at the moment. And we'll see what's going to happen over the coming week or so in terms of hot weather across Europe, and I'll get on that for you very shortly. Just to say, but it's a busy day at GavsWeatherVids today. We've got Germany Friday coming up later on, as well as a 10 to 14 day video update. And then tonight we're going to have July's ENSO update. That's the penultimate ENSO update of the year. Can you believe that will be coming up around 7 o'clock tonight? So with so much to get through, I think better get on with it. I'm going to start off, as I say, looking at today's weather. So this is the situation across Europe in terms of the synoptic pressure pattern for today. I've got high pressure sitting over and to the east of the UK, covering much of northern and western Europe, so the ridge extending up from the Med up through these western and central parts of Europe. In the east and the northeast, it's much cooler there. On the eastern side of a ridge of high pressure, we're pulling down a cool and showery northerly wind through these Baltic areas and over towards western parts of Russia. But most parts of Europe, it is a very warm to hot scene. Low pressure out in the Atlantic is encroaching in on Ireland and the UK, and that will bring to an end this very hot weather that we've got across many parts of particularly eastern UK today. So here's the upper air temperatures for today. They really are looking very hot across many western parts of Europe. Real heat surge coming out of North Africa through the Mediterranean. Intense heat through many parts of the Med, and this heat's extending up the western side of Europe as well, covering much of France, so western Germany, into the Low Countries, into particularly southern and eastern parts of England as well. And then going northwards into southwestern parts of Norway too. Further eastwards though, across the eastern parts of Scandinavia through these Baltic areas, going into the northeast of Europe and into west of Russia. It's much cooler there, winds in from the north, and is rather showery too. And then we go down into southeastern parts of Europe, and then we pick up the heat again as we come down through the Balkans and in towards Greece and Turkey. It becomes very, very hot once again through there. A lot of dry weather on offer today with this big ridge of high pressure, a few thunderstorms scattered about over the Alps, and then more generally heavy showers in the far northeast. That's where we've got those cooler northerly winds bringing in those showers in the far northeast Europe. One or two over Scandinavia, not very many, and then most other areas are looking dry, actually more or less completely dry through the Mediterranean from east to west. We have got this cold front coming in from the Atlantic, bringing a band of rain through Ireland into western parts of Scotland, western parts of England and Wales too. One or two thunderstorms could break out across eastern England tonight, and they will probably rumble on through the North Sea into parts of northern France and the Low Countries in particular through the course of tomorrow, or through tonight and into tomorrow. These are our temperatures today. So it is cooler in the northeast. Temperatures there are lower into upper teens or low 20 Celsius. However, most parts of Europe are looking hot. Quite widely across Europe, we're into the 30s Celsius, and it's particularly hot up this western side of Europe. So much of France going into the mid to upper 30s Celsius, 38 degrees, around 100 Fahrenheit possible for parts of France today. Going down to Spain, probably up to around 40 degrees there, going to around 105 Fahrenheit. Into southeast parts of England, so we're going to be seeing temperatures there going up to around 35, maybe 36 degrees as well. So yes, a very hot scene. Low Countries and much of western Germany, very, very hot as well. Temperatures into the low to mid 30s Celsius, quite widely cooler in the northeast of Europe. Moving through to tomorrow, Saturday. So this ridge just begins to slip back eastwards a little bit into Europe, allowing some cooler, fresh air into the northwest. So for most parts of Europe will still be pretty hot tomorrow. There's the upper air temperatures showing that heat is sort of pushing more towards Germany into Denmark, and then going up towards the Scandinavian peninsula. The cooler temperature in the northeast also receding back in towards western parts of Russia, looking very hot again through many parts of the Mediterranean, but starting to cool down for Ireland, UK and northwestern parts of France. Thunderstorms are through Germany into parts of the Low Countries, going northwards up towards Denmark, possibly heading towards southwestern parts of Norway as well. That band of storms really marking the boundary between the hot temperatures further eastwards and the cooler temperatures coming in from the Atlantic. So for Ireland and the UK, it'll be a cooler day tomorrow, although it's still very warm in the southeast with further showers in the north and in the west too. More showers in the northeast of Europe, but down its eastern side of the continent, quite a bit of dry weather. And then coming through the Mediterranean, again, we do see quite a bit of dry weather coming through there. Temperatures tomorrow are going to be hot through many parts of Europe again, particularly from France up to Germany, seeing temperatures going to around mid-30s Celsius at the very least. Up to Scandinavia, probably seeing temperatures reaching 30 degrees for some parts of southern Sweden. Into the UK, so still up to around 25, 26 in the southeast, but it begins to get cooler further northwest you go. Ireland looking positively cool there with temperatures around 20 degrees at best. That's just 68 Fahrenheit. I mean, it's a hot scene, of course, through the Med with hot air extending up the eastern side of Europe as well. Sunday is looking like that. So low pressure around Iceland is bringing in a rather cooler feel to northern and western parts of Europe. The ridge that has produced this heat wave is weakening and gradually slipping more towards the eastern side of Europe perhaps. So the warmest upper air temperatures are being pushed further eastwards, more towards those eastern parts of Europe. Around the northeast and into western Russia, it is quite cool there. And it's becoming a lot cooler again in the northwest. So Ireland, UK, much of northwestern France again, temperatures are cooling down through there. But through the Mediterranean, the heat goes on, particularly across North Africa into southern parts of France and into the central basin of the Mediterranean. A lot of heavy thunderstorms across the central parts of Europe, particularly sort of eastern Germany towards Poland, I mean down to like Austria, Hungary. Some really big storms there through the course of Sunday afternoon. Heavy showers and thunderstorms could be kicking off over Scandinavia too. Eastern parts of Europe are looking drier until we run into showers in the northeast of Europe and west of Russia. Most parts of the Med look dry, and then coming into the northwest, well, Ireland and the UK will have showers, particularly in northern and western parts of those areas. So the heat is just beginning to recede a little bit. The heat wave is just beginning to ease off across many parts of Europe, but nevertheless, particularly the central areas, still hot through eastern Germany and into Poland. For example, temperatures will still be around 30 to 32 through those areas. That's around 90 in Fahrenheit. Still very warm over Scandinavia as well. Temperatures there into the mid to upper 20s Celsius. France, so it's not as hot as it has been, but still temperatures mid to upper 20s Celsius. Most parts of the Med looking hot. Ireland and the UK seeing temperatures dropping down into the upper teens or the low 20s Celsius. Through to Monday, and a bit of a messy scene across many parts of Europe. We've got low pressure in the north, in particular. The ridge is now right way over onto the far eastern side of Europe, but is currently producing a heat wave. But another extension from the Azores Heights, just beginning to move up from the southwest, perhaps some of those western parts of Europe. Hottest upper air temperatures are being squeezed down in towards more southern and southeastern areas. So upper air temperatures are generally lowering across many parts of Europe, although still looking quite warm in the east. Definitely a lot cooler in the northwest. And of course, through the Mediterranean, it will still be hot. Those thunderstorms are progressing further eastwards during the course of Monday, so they're moving from Germany to Poland and then possibly heading towards Ukraine actually by the end of Monday, and of course also extending down in towards northern parts of the Alps as well. Mostly dry to the east of those storms on the eastern side of Europe, and out in the northwest there will be further showers, possibly some longer spells of rain through parts of Ireland, the UK, into the Low Countries, maybe extending up in towards Norway and Denmark too. Most parts of the Mediterranean again looking completely dry, sunny and hot through there. Obviously, it's a lot cooler in the northwest. Temperatures probably cooling down across Norway, dropping down to just low teens Celsius, possibly for parts of Norway. Scandinavia seeing, Sweden, I should say, seeing the temperature lowering as well, as is Finland. Eastern parts of Europe still looking quite warm there, upper 20s to low 30s Celsius. Down this eastern side of Europe, most parts of the Med looking hot, but not as hot as it currently is. Even in Spain, we do get a little bit of a reduction in the temperature through the early part of next week. Now, in the northwest Europe, obviously, it is still looking quite cool through there. That's Tuesday. So on Tuesday, we're beginning to get a ridge extending up from the Azores high into western and southwestern parts of Europe, although low pressure is across parts of Ireland and also moving in towards Scotland too. Low pressure through the central parts of Europe, higher pressure over on the eastern side of Europe. Upper air temperatures look hot across the eastern part of Europe, cooler through the central areas and up to Scandinavia, and then becoming warmer again potentially through western parts of Europe, Ireland, UK, possibly France. Just seeing some warmer and more humid air beginning to move back in from off the Atlantic on Tuesday. It will be associated with a warm front though, in an area of low pressure that's going to bring cloud and outbreaks of rain to Ireland and the UK, but much of France, Spain and Portugal looking mainly dry. Over onto the eastern side of Europe, those thunderstorms, that band of storms, is moving over into Ukraine and perhaps down into the Balkans as well. Could be some storms kicking off there through the course of Tuesday afternoon. Scandinavia looking rather showery, and most parts of the Med will be dry on Tuesday. Temperatures look hot on the eastern side of Europe, up to around 30 degrees there. Hot through the Mediterranean, 32 to 35. Becoming warmer across France again, probably lifting back up to around 30 degrees for some parts of France, and starting to warm up maybe a little bit for Ireland and the UK too. Up to Scandinavia, it looks pretty cool up there, particularly for Norway. And then we go through to Wednesday. This ridge is beginning to re-establish across many southern and western parts of Europe. Still a little bit of low pressure out to the northwest of Ireland and the UK, but the general trend through the middle of next week looks to be towards higher pressure beginning to re-establish in many parts of Europe. The heat is beginning to rebuild, notice. Heat beginning to rebuild across parts of Spain, possibly beginning to move back in towards southern parts of France too. Generally, upper air temperatures are lifting up through many parts of Europe through the middle of next week. Still some outbreaks of rain across many parts of Scandinavia. Some of that could be quite heavy and maybe a little bit thundering. Showery, patchy rain for Ireland and the UK too. But otherwise, as this high pressure is re-establishing, we do have a lot of dry weather from Spain and Portugal going right way up towards the Baltic Sea. Still some thunderstorms left on the extreme east of Europe, particularly focused from the Balkans over towards the Black Sea. Temperatures are beginning to get hotter again on Wednesday across France. We're going back widely into the low to possibly mid-30s Celsius. Heat beginning to rebuild across Spain. Could be seeing temperatures going into the upper 30s Celsius through there. Many parts of Mediterranean looking hot. It is still cooler in the far northwest, particularly for Scandinavia. And then that's Thursday, so then we've got high pressure across many central and eastern parts of Europe. We're beginning to draw up those hot southerly winds again, I think, across western parts of Europe. This area of low pressure out to the northwest of Scotland is beginning to get pushed further northwards up towards Greenland and Iceland. Upper air temperatures are looking increasingly hot through Spain. The heat wave is rebuilding across Spain and starting to push further northwards in towards France too. Most parts of Europe seeing the upper air temperatures looking very warm to hot, it has to be said, on Thursday. So there's a lot of dry weather on offer through Thursday, mainly dry, hot and sunny through many parts of Europe. Some showers still left over Scandinavia around those Baltic Sea areas. A few showers coming down the eastern side of Europe too, and some showers or longer spells of rain possible for parts of Ireland and northwestern UK. But that said, many places will be dry, and temperatures look very warm to hot through most parts of Europe, particularly again on the western side of Europe, so Germany, Low Countries, France, Spain, Portugal, possibly just coming back into parts of southeastern England by Thursday as well, seeing temperatures back up into the 30s Celsius quite widely through those areas. In fact, going further eastward, you see it's a hot scene through many eastern parts of Europe too. Does look a little bit cooler Scandinavia, but quite warm even through there. And I'll just run you on today 10. This is how things looking on Friday. So high pressure really taking over across most parts of Europe on Friday. Mainly dry, sunny and hot through many parts of Europe on Friday. And these dry, hot and sunny conditions continue really through into the weekend of Saturday the 8th and Sunday the 9th of August. It does look as though that weekend is going to be very warm to hot across many parts of Europe. If I show you the upper air temperature, you can see how warm they're looking quite widely. It's a little bit cooler for Scandinavia And for Scotland and Ireland, again, perched next to the Atlantic Ocean. That's just a little bit fresher there, but most parts of Europe are looking hot again as we go through that weekend of the 8th and the 9th of August. So it's a very warm scene for many parts of Europe. Summer well and truly being unleashed now. It's hot across many areas today. There will be a little bit of a cool down as we go through the early part of next week, and then the heat probably re-establishing again later next week. Right, so that's your European Outlook done. We'll be back with JMA Friday very shortly. Then we've got a 10 to 14 day video update, rule breaker features, and our ENSO update coming up tonight. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.